Happy Independence Day, guys. Each one of us want to be financially independent, a life where we can pursue our passion, not worrying anymore about money. But there are very few of us who actually land in that space, mainly because we don't analyze things deeply. Many of us feels that it's already too late or are already burdened with loans, feeling like there is no tomorrow. Many receive salary on 30th and by 5th of next month, it's 95% gone. Credit card bills are mounting. If salary increased by 10%, expenses have already increased by 15%. We all can relate to this pain. But with this video, I want to make an honest effort to state that it's never too late. It doesn't matter what your current financial situation is or what's your age today. It's only too late if you give up. There is still hope for each one of us to be financially independent. We still got an opportunity to put our lives back on track and then stop worrying about the future. I had been a financial planner for more than 10 years, have seen so many lives changing in front of me, and that too with small analysis. I have stories where someone who is already in early 40s, burdened with lots of responsibilities and loans, living life paycheck to paycheck, within 5 years, he was not only relieved from that stress but is now on the track to retire 5 years early. So without wasting more time, let's try together to start today and land into financial independent zone as soon as possible. Broadly, leaving age factor for now, any one of us will be part of any one of the four quadrants in terms of current financial situation. First quadrant belongs to people who are living life paycheck to paycheck with no savings at all. Second quadrant belongs to people who have savings that could last for few months even if they lose their job. Third quadrant belongs to people who have expenses more than their income but at least have no loans. Fourth quadrant belongs to those people who have home loans, personal loans, credit card outstanding bills, etc., and are hardly able to manage month on month expenses. Of course, in all situations, we are not financially independent. On top of it, if we were aged above 30, then we have other responsibilities as well. But if I tell you there is still hope left, if and only if we act now and stick to the plan. I divided this video in two parts. Part 1 comprises of step-by-step approach to the journey from today till financial freedom. Part 2 is psychology because just laying down these steps won't help us until our efforts are not aligned together with our psychology. Let's start with step 1, moment of truth. Okay, this is slightly a hard step. Trust me, every step will reduce your stress. Firstly, we need to be clear on where we stand today. We should have our numbers in front of us. We should know which quadrant we are in currently. Take a fresh page, divide page into 4 parts. In part 1, write all your sources of income. Write down the final number that you make on a monthly basis. In second column, write down the breakup of all your expenses. Make sure you give a head to every expense, even if it's a snack. Make sure you have this ready. In next column, mention your loans and rate of interest on each of them along with your monthly EMI. And in the last column, mention your goals, cost of each goal today and what's the value of your current investments. Once you have the moment of truth page ready, now is the time to dive deep. Also, it's now when you need to know your financial independence number. What I mean by financial independence number, that's the amount with which you will need not to work again for money for your entire life. If you will work, that will only be because of your passion. So, as a thumb rule, in India, we have interest rates on FDs close to 7%. So, our corpus should be such that 7% interest on that amount could give us a rich life. For example, if your yearly expenses are, let's say, 6 lakhs, then you can multiply the same by 25, which comes close to 1.5 cr. Now, if you build this corpus of 1.5 cr, that will take care of all your inflation adjusted expenses. And with smart investing, that we will discuss shortly, we could achieve much more. So, you can take 25x as a thumb rule. For few people, this number could be small, they can take a higher multiple. So, for our example, we have 10.5 lakhs coming yearly to meet our monthly expenses, right? Also, if you see some other major expenses like kids education or buying a house or something else, then that amount need to be adjusted in the goal. For the calculation of these goals and the future value, I've already attached an Excel at the description box that you can use to calculate your number. Step 2 is coming at par. Now we have our numbers in place. To take the journey from negative to positive, firstly we need to come at par. We need to make sure that monthly expenses are equal to our monthly income. Here we need to take that moment of truth page, see each column minutely. For example, from income quadrant, is there any scope to increase that income? Even if it takes extra effort to develop one skill that can increase our salary, then go for it. If it's too low as compared to your expenses, then it's time to take an extra mile. You might need to take a part time job or look for another job with a hike. If you feel that everything is done for this quadrant, then time to jump to the expenses quadrant. Many people ignore smaller expenses, forgetting the wonder of compounding. Let me give you an example of one of my client who was hardly able to meet his needs. When we jot down his expenses, we found many small expenses that can be removed for now. It could be subscription to journal that doesn't add value to your growth, or any coffee that you take on way to work, or lunch that you have at office on the day you miss to carry your tiffin. Okay. I know. You'll say we are talking about lakhs and crores. Then how these few thousands will help? Let me show now the power of compounding, how it did miracles for my client. We found out that we could save roughly rupees 10,000 only if he starts early to office and carry tiffin with him. Stop two subscriptions for now, one of Netflix and one for another newspaper. Then we talked about taking a better monthly plan for his phone and restricting outing only for 4 times a month. Of course, for him these were small amount that give him some pleasure, and he never thought of the impact that it makes on his financials. I just put the numbers in front of him and he is a happy client for me since. Just to see the numbers, his 10,000 monthly savings, if invested into a normal index fund, could have made him more than 60 lakhs in 15 years and more than 1.3 crores in 20 years. Similarly, you can avoid one movie outing and one dinner and save rupees 1000 and see that one time saving becoming more than 30,000 after 20 years. See how small lump sum sacrifices of movie and snacks and other avoidable expenses can add to your long term coppers. This will start reducing your long term burden and helping you in reaching your goals early. This takes us to the next column where we need to see where are our loans and rate of interest on each one of them along with your monthly EMIs. Now, see if you are able to come at par with your monthly EMIs. If yes, great. Otherwise, you can talk to your bank to restructure your loans, increase the tenure, and try to reduce the EMIs so that it also contributes in reducing your overall outflow. Once you are done with it, you need to make sure to start paying off your loans as soon as possible, especially those that have higher interest. If you expect your investments to earn, let's say, 12%, then any loan that's above 12%, you need to close it as soon as possible. Always start by paying higher interest loans, even if it's small in size. I hope all of you know that most of the credit cards charge 30 to 40% on the outstanding balances, so pay them off first. This brings us to the last column, our goals. Cost of each goal today and what's the value of your current investments. You know what's your goal cost now. Now use simple Excel that I've already attached. Just calculate that inflation adjusted future goal for yourself. If it's your early retirement corpus of 5 CR, just for an example, that should be noted in front of you. Also, jot down the current value of all your investments and calculate the return that they are giving. Are they above the loan interest amount or above the normal rate of return that you expect? If yes, great. Otherwise, time for the action. Okay, have these numbers handwritten in front of you. Okay, now we are at par, right? We have come to that level where we have reduced our avoidable expenses and started to save for future as well. Now comes an important part of savings and investment. Here, you need to make sure that you take your financial investment decisions correctly. This step is equally important like previous one. Here you need to make sure that whatever hard work you put in to come to this level don't go waste. So now take that basic step of financial plan. You need to make sure that 6 month expenses are there in your liquid investments. This could be even a FD. This will give you a mental peace. Even if you lose a job or you need to take a break, you know that you have 6 months backup plan ready. Also, make sure you have a health insurance in place for your family. In case any medical emergency occurs, apart from this, have a term plan. If you have dependents, you need to have a term plan. That will come handy if something happens to you. Then your loved ones will at least have a secured financial future. Now, this will take us to the next important step to become rich and move from self sustainable to financial independence. Financial independence comes when your investments take care of your expenses. You need not to work for money anymore. Your diversified investments are providing for all your needs. If it's your rental income or it's your dividend income or even your automated business income or royalty income, etc., everything contributing to your monthly income more than your expenses without you working for it. To reach here, you need to start the accumulation journey. You need to work as hard as possible and invest as smart as possible. You need to make sure that every rupee you save is getting invested in the right asset class that gives you the best risk adjusted return. Here, one thing you need to understand, not every sector performs good at one time. If you check the history, the best performing sector of one decade could be the worst performing sector of the next decade, right? Similar to this, if you are investing into mutual funds, remember not one fund can be the best performer ever. Similarly, real estate businesses also go through these cycles. So, in financial independence step, you need to make sure that you know the basics. If you are able to devote enough time and energy and are financially sound, then great. Else, you need to make sure that you have one financial advisor on whose advice you can depend on, who manages your money as if it's his or her own money. Let me know in comment column if you need me to prepare another video and help you guys securing your financial goals. Okay, this is the stage of luxury. You are financially independent, right? Now, the next step is to create abundant wealth that gives you a luxurious life. Here, you are 100% sure that in any scenario, you will not be required to work ever again. Even if one or two asset classes underperform, you have money flowing in from various sources and you are making 2x or 3x or more from your diversified investments. You could pursue your hobby, you could travel the world, you could work for environment, you do your social work, help a child in his education, plant tons of trees, etc. etc. These are important steps. Working step by step, you can create wealth for yourself and for your family. This stage, you need to make sure that your investments grow phenomenally. You need to make diversified investments. You need to make the right decisions in case you want to do the sector switching or you want to do the large cap to mid cap to small cap switches or you want to rotate the properties, you want to increase your rental income or any other kind of investments. But the purpose of this step is to have the abundant wealth in front of you, right? This brings us to part 2, psychology mode, where we need to work on psychology. Because just laying down these steps won't help until our efforts and thinking are not aligned together. Just in one line, if I need to tell you this step, then it will be spend less, save more, make more, and understand that time is money. If you have been attentive till now, here comes the bonus for you. For part 2 and achieve all your steps of part 1, you need to make sure to be more attentive now. You need to ask yourself before every expense, is this expense important for you more than your stress free rich future? If yes, then only spend that amount. Here you might have to sacrifice small things for your much better future. Ask this question again and again till the time your brain comes to an automated level where it can do that cost benefit analysis on its own. Once brain comes to the driving seat, it will make sure that you are spending less and saving more for your important goals. Okay, spent less. Now it's time when you need to make sure that money saved is working best for you. Your investments are giving better risk adjusted return than your expected returns. Keep yourself updated on market cycles. Understand the economic cycle of boom, then peak, then recession, then trough, then recovery, and then again another rally. Also, this cycle continues forever. You need to make sure that you make most out of this each cycle. If markets are in boom period, make sure you are invested. Before peak, make sure you are ready for the next fall, where you have deep pockets and ready to shop at discounted rates when recession hits. One line from Mr. Warren Buffett tells everything: fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Next part is understanding that time is money. This is the most important part. Always understand that time is money. You can't do skydiving at every age. Do it when age permits. Similarly, spend time with your family too. They are the one who supported you in every decision of your life. Make sure you are with them when they need you. Create best memories with them. On spending time, if you earn, let's say, 1000 rupees in 2 hours, make sure don't waste 2 hours in searching a discount of rupees 500 for a travel ticket. Rather, invest that time with your family and friends. Also, we need to understand the power of compounding. This table shows the number of times your wealth compounds at various combination of interest rate and time. You can take a screenshot and keep it with you. Take the number 101 at the intersection of 15% return and 33 years. This means that your initial amount, whatever amount you have invested, compounds 101 times at 15% interest rate when held for 33 years. A similar interpretation can be made for other number as well. Mathematically, 100 times return are possible through various combinations like 15% for 33 years, 18% for 28 years, 20% for 26 years, 25% for 21 years, 30% for 18 years, 40% returns for 17 years, and 50% returns can give you 100x in 12 years. Till now, you must have noticed that 100x compounding happens much faster when the rate of return is 25% and above. There are companies like HDFC Bank. In past, they have compounded at those high rate, and there are various companies which can compound in similar returns in coming future. While this seems tempting, you need to make sure that you understand this. Your question should be: am I equipped to find such companies? Am I capable of researching such companies or funds? And am I bold enough to back my conviction? Be honest when you answer this. Hope this video help you guys. Make most out of it. Not for marketing purposes, but touching more lives. You need to make sure that this video reaches to many more who are working for a better future. More likes, more comments, more subscriptions, and more shares will help the video in YouTube algorithm to bring this in front of many more who need this. Make sure you do your bit because I have done mine by preparing this video for Financial Independence Day. Once again, Happy Independence Day, and as always, happy learning!